You know,
Thank you. Hi there. Welcome to the YBMB show, Wednesday, Mindset Day. And I'm just walking through Green Park, just the back of Piccadilly. Lots of other people out here as well, sunbathing, beautiful day. So I hope it's nice where you are. And so the title today is something like Stop Faffing, Start Doing. A bit blunt, I know, but so many people say to me that they want to do this, that, or the other. You know, they want to get fitter or start a new business or get a better job, but feel stuck, just like they can't do it, or overthink it, constantly keep thinking about what they would like to do, but just not quite sure what that might be, or even, if they are sure they want to do, where to start. So I just wanted to cover 5 things today about that my experience really work. The first one is to do with understanding really your emotions and why we want the things that we want, because actually what you think you want, or what we think we want, might actually not really be what we want when we get there, and that's the danger. So you know that I'm a big fan of Tony Robbins, and Tony Robbins says something which I think is so true. What he says is the quality of our life is down to the quality of our emotions. And he sort of illustrates that with a great example where he says that, we all know people who seemingly have everything, and yet, they're not happy. They're people that love them. They've got money, they've got success, they've got fame. And he gives a couple of good examples actually of people, and yet they're still not happy. And then he talks about examples of people that, don't have any sort of material wealth, have been through so much adversity, maybe has some, tragedy in their life, and yet they seem really eternally happy. So as he says, it's all about your emotions. And what are your emotions? Well, they come about as a result of what you focus on. So if you focus on things like, what you're grateful for, what makes you feel loved, what makes you feel excited, those are all great emotions. And that then becomes the quality of your life. If we focus on what we don't have, what's gone wrong, how maybe, we're not achieving what we want, a sense of failure, a sense of frustration, focus on that the whole time, then that's the quality of our life. So the first thing is to examine what we really want, and then just ask ourselves, why do I want that? And the answer eventually is, well, because it's going to make me feel a certain way. And that's the first point that I wanted to really get across is, I'm just going to sit down here actually, is that, how do you want to feel? Most of us, we just really want to feel happy, don't we? That's all it is. And so only sort of what that is, what's going to make you feel happy, whether it is going to be, and we all have sort of just really a set of things that are going to make us feel happy. They are the 6 human needs. It could be security, it could be significance, it could be variety, it could be excitement. But the truth is that ultimately, at the end of our life, we all want to have felt that we've had a life of meaning, that it was worth us being here, that we made some form of difference. If you start thinking about what it is you want on your headstone after you die, think about what you want to see written there. It's an interesting exercise to do. We do it sometimes with people on YBMB because they nearly always then will say that, oh, she was a loving mother. She made an impact on others in the world. Whatever it is, it's really going to be, oh, she had a big house and a nice diamond ring and a Ferrari. So sometimes when people say that they want those things, and I ask why. It's really, the answer is about how they think it's going to make them feel. And then you sort of ask them the next question, which is, well, could you feel like that now, by doing something within your control right now? So that's an important thing when you're thinking about what it is that you actually want to achieve or do, think about why, because you may well find that some of these things are easier to achieve than you really, thought they were. There was a great example once where someone stood up again in a Tony Robbins conference, and he said that he needed to earn something like $1 billion, and when Tony started going through with him, well, exactly what is it that, you're going to do with all that? And he started talking about he wanted 4 houses and a yacht and a private jet and houses for all his family. And, I think he got to bearing in mind that Tony was advocating do down payments, don't buy these things because you probably want to get rid of them after a while, just lease them. I think he managed to spend about 20 million, something like that. So often people don't need what they think they need anyway. So that's the first thing, is just understanding your emotions. And the other thing that someone called Bob Proctor talks about is mindset. He talks about, mindset in terms of setting your mind, which I think is a really interesting way of looking at it, because we all talk about mindset so often, but set your mind. What that means is get on the same frequency as the things that you want. And that means imagine that you've already got them, feel grateful for them, focus on positive emotions and set your mind at the right frequency. Don't focus on failure, frustration, negativity, what you haven't got. Focus on the correct thing. So that's point 1. The next thing then is, now you've got your mindset right, you're focusing on all the right things. It's about defining your actual desires. Now we've, having set the scene like I have, your desires might not be as unachievable as you might expect. We've got to define them, and but don't think about it too much. Just write down the top 10 things, the top 10 desires. What are they? What is it that you actually want? It doesn't have to be forever, but what is it you want right now? And just write them down. The other thing is, when you're writing these down, they don't have to be in any order, but write them down somewhere where you're going to be able to look at them. I said this, I think, in an email yesterday, so that you don't forget about it and it's not just a momentary thing. Write them down, and then have them somewhere where you can see them often, at least twice a day. Get them out, look at them, and imagine that they're already in place. I know many people, including myself, that have done this exercise and are amazed when these things happen. Sometimes these things happen like almost immediately. So write them down. The other thing to say, though, is to be specific. So if you're, for example, saying, I know, you want to be successful in your job, what does that actually mean? Does that mean that you need to get a promotion? Does that mean that you need to get a new job? Does that mean that you want to start a business? Does it mean, that you want a sideways move? What exactly does it mean? Because just saying, I want more money or I want to be successful, imagine that someone is out there waiting to give it to you, the universe, if you believe in that, or whatever else it is, trying to help you conspire to make it happen. If you're not specific, how are they supposed to know what it is that you want? How are you supposed to know where to target your actions? So then it brings me to the third point, really, is so be specific about exactly what it is. If you want more money, how much more money? And question that as well, because do you really need that much to make you feel the way you want to feel, etc., etc. So the third point is, now you've written down your top 10 desires, is actions. You've got to sort of, for each of those things, just think, all right, well, what's the first action that I could take? So on this subject of, I want to get another job, maybe you're on furlough, or maybe you're not now, but you're just bored with your job, and you want to get another job. Well, that's not going to happen. No one is going to come along and knock on your door and say, here's another job. No one's going to say, all right, here's a business for you to start or to run. You've got to basically take some action. There's many actions. I spoke about that particular one on Friday, how to get your first job. So I won't go into all the detail now, but there are a series of actions to take. If it's that you want to earn more money, well, you've got to look at what your skills are, what you're doing in your job, whether you can do anything on the side as well, whether you can start a business, for example. Or in fact, your investments that you have, could you maybe refinance against those? If you've got a house, maybe you could do some remortgaging or whatever it is. If you need access to some cash, there's many ways to do it. And so for each thing, identifying a next action. I've had so many people come and say to me over the years, well, I'd love to get a new job, but I'm just not qualified for anything now. Okay, so what would you love to do? All right, so what is it? What is the qualification you don't have or you don't know? Okay, well, let's Google it. All right, so you need ABC qualification. Right, let's have a look at the courses. They're starting to run one online. in July. What's the next action? Enroll for it. Okay, let's enroll for it then. Oh, but I don't have the money to pay for it. Okay, well, let's see what the alternatives are that are free. There is always an answer if you want to be resourceful. So coming up with actions really is the third point. And what you want to be doing is going through each of your 10 desires and identifying, at least one action. So it gives you 10 things to do, for your top 10 desires. Just one action, doesn't matter how small it is. I'll come on to why it doesn't matter how small it is in a minute. The fourth point is, now you've got these actions, bloody schedule them in, and this brings me to really the title: stop faffing, start doing. If it is that you want to get fit, and you've decided now, using what I've just said, you've decided what that actually means to you. If what that means to you is losing weight, okay, so how much weight? So we said be specific, so you come up with the amount of weight. And then we said, okay, so what's the next action? Well, you might say, well, it's to start exercising. Right, go for a walk today, schedule one in every single day. Like join a gym. Somewhere like Pure Gym is about $19.99 a month. They've got offers on at the moment. I'm fully equipped with absolutely everything, and they're all over the place. That's just an example. Or start working out from home. Do one of my workouts if you want. Body weight, you don't need any equipment, but start doing something. As I said, doing something is so much better than doing nothing. So you can actually start to take this first action, and once you've taken the first action, you then decide what the second action is, and that's how you start to get momentum. So that's the fourth one, is make sure that you schedule into your diary. Again, I have spoken to people before about, what is it they really want. And I asked them how they'd love their day to be. And they say, oh God, I'd love my day to be, I would do this. I'd get up at that time. I would, I'd spend some time with my mom, let's say, I'd walk to work instead of getting on the tube. I would this, that, the other. And I always say, well, okay, so make tomorrow like that then. Make a lot of what people say they want to do in an ideal world, they could just do that. They were, oh, I'd love to get up earlier. I'd get up at about 5 a.m. Okay, so just get up at 5 a.m. tomorrow. So just do it. It's much easier than we think it is. And every single person is totally equipped and entitled to achieve whatever it is that they want to achieve. And if everybody did that, this world would be so much better. We'd be so much more productive as an individual, as a family, as a company, as a country. So like do your bit, for you, for everybody around you. Just start scheduling in, make things as you want them to be, and start doing it. So the fifth point then is, to put again this all into context to sort of top and tail it, is that I talked before about the longevity mindset, haven't I? I don't know how long you think you've got, how long you think you're going to live for. I've talked about science before, and the fact that, with every year that passes, the science is advancing at such a rate that it will soon be that we can, every year we're buying a decade's worth of life. Imagine, get this longevity mindset in place. Start believing that you are going to live to 156. Work out when that year is. In 100 years, what's it going to be? 21. Even that seems too soon. So maybe you want to live forever. But in the scheme of things, if you've got that long, if you've got a long time, I've got a bit of hay fever here. Then, if it takes you a little bit longer than you want to do some of these things, it really doesn't matter, does it? As long as you're enjoying each day, as long as you're making the days as you want them, so for me, I love doing my morning routine. I like doing a bit of work very first thing. I like then getting out and walking regardless of the weather. I love going to the gym when now it's open. I'll go back now. Obviously I like talking to you guys, and I'll go back and do some work. And not always is the work exactly the work of my choosing, because when you're trying to build something, you will come up against obstacles. No one's life is sweetness and light, and no matter how much you try to nurture relationships, there's going to be conflict sometimes with people, so you have to navigate all of that. But every single day can be a day of grasping some sort of opportunity, but also dealing with some type of conflict or some type of problem. And at the end of the day, you know then that you've improved in some way. And if we've got a long time, there is no reason whatsoever why you can't get everything that you want, everything that's on that list. And I think that's all I want to say for today is, set your mind, set your intention, set your desires, quantify them, decide the next actions, schedule it all in, and then relax, knowing that as long as you follow this path one at a time, one step at a time, one day at a time, that you are going to gradually get to where you want to be. And it actually will amaze you that sometimes how quickly these things happen. Okay, so have a great week. I will talk to you on Friday.